Hey Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. Yesterday I made two videos on the Oklahoma State homecoming parade crash incident that was reported in the mainstream media October 24th and throughout the weekend. Even still today, Monday, it is the big story, the top story in the nation. What I revealed in these two videos is that Stillwater is a highly Masonic town, and everything about this crash that has been reported has been by these highly Masonic numbers. What I missed out in the first two videos was the actual Masonic Lodge in Stillwater, and looking at its address, it pretty much tells us the full story. Look, it is located at 322 West Miller Avenue. That number 322 stands out to everyone who was awake. 322 is the number of Yale, Skull and Bones, the elite secret society. In 2004, the presidential candidates were John Kerry and George W. Bush, both admitted members of Yale, Skull and Bones. This was public knowledge because of Tim Russert of Meet the Press, who asked both John Kerry and George W. Bush if they were members, and they both admitted that they were, but would say no more. It should be noted that Yale and Skull and Bones are located in New Haven, Connecticut, which is where the Bush family dynasty hails out of. Their family is from New Haven, Connecticut. Every member of the Bush political dynasty has been a member of Skull and Bones. So have many other people in high places in this world, from political office to CEOs to heads of news media. Skull and Bones, a Masonic order, an elite secret society that has a real emphasis in this world. Notice that the initial reporting of the wreck, the tragedy in quotations in Stillwater, said 3 dead and 22 injured, just like the number of Skull and Bones, just like the address of the Masonic Lodge in Stillwater. Should also be noted, Truth Seeker, that Tim Russert, who brought this to the public's attention on Meet the Press, he died not long after, and he died by the numbers. I will do a video on Tim Russert's death because it needs to be acknowledged. He was killed for exposing truth. Mainstream media is not here to expose truth. It is here to report on propaganda. It is here to deceive people. What Tim Russert did on Meet the Press by exposing John Kerry and George W. Bush is one of the most truthful and honorable things ever done on television. Anyhow, alumni of Skull and Bones are called Bonesmen, which has gematria of 33 and 42. Remember, the word Freemason equals 42. Scottish Rite Freemasons have a highest degree of 33. 33 is a number of obsession with the Freemasons. George W. Bush himself, a former Bonesman, was born July 6, 1946, a date with 33 numerology. What else? So many people in high places have 33 life numbers, 33 names. George W. Bush graduated from Yale Skull and Bones 33 years before becoming president. He graduated in 1968. He became president in 2001. In 68, World Trade Center construction happened and 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. 33 years later, September 11th, 2001 would happen within Bush's first year of being president. He was the president for 9/11 because he was probably always raised for what the game plan would be. September 11th was a major Masonic ritual. Also, the address of this Masonic Lodge in Stillwater, which just hosted this Masonic tragedy, is on Miller Avenue. Miller is a word with 33 gematria. What else? 322 West Miller. Notice that the word Masonic has gematria of 223 in Jewish, the reflection of 322. We're talking about their Masonic Lodge. Simple English gematria of 74. English gematria of 444. By the end, they said that 4 people were dead and 44 injured. 444, like Masonic. And this happens in Stillwater, which has an area code beginning with 74, home of the 74074 zip code. Oh, Truth Seeker. This might be the most Masonic place in America. In one of the videos I did yesterday, I showed how the number coded all over the tragedy was what this football team finished with at the end of the day. They scored 58 points on the day of the tragedy. The tragedy was coded with the number 58. I also talked about how they won by 48 points. The lodge in Stillwater is lodge number 48. 48 is connected to 223 because 223 is the 48th prime number. Words such as evil have a gematria of 48. Propaganda, Illuminati. The Freemasons, the Zionists, the Jesuits, they're the real Illuminati. The Cowboys won by 48 points on the day of the tragedy, 58-10. Remember, the word Freemasonry equals 58 the small way. The big way, it equals 139, just like Stillwater, this highly Masonic town. Everything about this town is Masonic. Its location, its name, the school, more. Anyhow, the wreck happened on a date with 49 numerology. The lodge in Stillwater is a York Rite lodge. There's also Scottish Rite lodges. This is a York Rite. York Rite has the gematria of 49. Stillwater itself has the gematria of 49. This is why the tragedy happened on Stillwater on the day it did. This is a planned event by the numbers. What I show on this video blog is how the media works by numerology, it works by gematria, they coordinate their events by the dates and the numbers they yield. Here's this lodge. It looks like a piece of shit, honestly, but I guarantee you some sick people from high places operate within here. Again, call that number, expose these people, let them know we're on to them, their number is up. They have a Freemason page. Please feel free to antagonize it the way they antagonize us. Look at how they have a pentagon in the corner of their lodge. Oh boy, Truth Seeker. So, let's go back in Oklahoma State tragedy and look at some other histories. They had a plane crash of the men's basketball team January 27th, 2001, right after George W. Bush took office. The date of this tragedy has numerology of 49, like York Rite, also like the date of the plane crash. Or not plane crash, the car crash into the parade from just this past Saturday. Probably not a coincidence. The date also yields some other interesting numerology values. January 27th, 2001 breaks down to 13, a special number. Also breaks down to 31, just like Oklahoma in Pythagorean gematria. And it's also a date with 29 numerology, the first number to have numerology of 11, one of the most important numbers to the Masons, and in numerology. In numerology, the multiples of 11 are master numbers. On September 11th, later that year in 2001, it was all about 11. The World Trade Centers were giant 11s in New York, which is the 11th state. The first plane to hit the buildings was Flight 11. Everything about that day was a hoax by the numbers. In Washington, D.C., Flight 77 hit the 77-foot-tall Pentagon located on the 77th meridian. We just saw how there's a Pentagon in the Masonic Lodge in Stillwater. Freemasons run the show. This is what I've been trying to wake people up to for more than 2 years. My knowledge, my information is on point, but so many people still deny. Why? Because they're gullible sheep. They're pawns in the scheme. They are part of the problem. The plane crashed in Strasburg, Colorado, which is interesting for multiple reasons. Notice that Strasburg has gematria of 44, the kill number. The town has gematria of 73, 82, 91. They said the pilot was an 82-year-old. They said the plane crashed at 7:37 p.m., which matches with the gematria of 73 for the location. Remember, the word sacrifice has a gematria of 73. The type of plane that crashed was a Beechcraft having gematria of 44. It was a Beechcraft Super King Air 200, which, depending on how you do your gematria and numerology, sums to 111 and also 113. If this was a signal for what was coming to New York from the Freemasons, remember that New York equals 111. You're listening to the voice of somebody who said in spring training this year that the New York Mets would be in the World Series. They're now in the World Series. It's the 111th World Series. New York equals 111. I have these Masons figured out. They control sports. They control the news. They control governments. They do it all by the numbers. It is a major giveaway if you understand their language. The plane that crashed was flying from Jefferson County Airport, which has gematria of 113. This is another important number to Freemasonry. The other branch of Freemasonry is Scottish Rite. There's Scottish Rite and York Rite. Scottish has gematria of 113. So do the words mainstream and dishonest. Notice also that Jefferson, where it took off from, has gematria of 44. I should have put the S exception on there too. It would also sum to 53 and 122 for Jefferson County Airport as well. Other important numbers. Anyhow, it was destined for Stillwater Regional Airport, which has gematria of 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Again, Stillwater, a very Masonic place. Freemasons have an obsession with 33. Here's another 33 coding in the town, the airport. It crashed in Colorado. Colorado and death have gematria in common. This wreck came 10 years before the wreck of the girls' basketball team on November 17th, 2011. A lot of the same numbers here in this crash as well. The coach died, Kurt Budke, who has gematria of 113, the same number showing up. You can come back here and read my blog post, more information. The assistant coach who died was named Miranda, a name with 33 gematria, probably reminding many people of Miranda rights. The entire story of Miranda rights is all centered around the number 33, happened on the 33rd parallel, on a date with 33 numerology. So much stuff with our Supreme Court is coded with 33. Why? Because the Supreme Court is run by Freemasons. Our entire legal system is run by Freemasons. The courts, the police, I've exposed all this in prior videos. The date of the crash for the women's team, November 17th, 2001, a date with 59 numerology, the kill number. A date with 32 numerology connecting to the coach's name in Pythagorean gematria. A date with 14 numerology, the words dead and end equals 14. Also a date with 39 numerology, a favorite number of the Zionists and the Masons. Notice that kill in Jewish gematria equals 59 and in simple English 44. The date of this wreck is the date that leaves 44 days remaining in the year. In leap years, it's also the 322nd day of the year. Think about that in light of all the 322 in Stillwater. Should also be noted that this crash happened on the 17th day of the month. The word kill in Pythagorean gematria equals 17. Remember, the first crash in 2001 happened on the 27th day of the month. Most people know how 27 is associated with death. Also, because it left Jefferson County, it reminds me of Jefferson Airplane. Think about the early death of Janis Joplin at age 27. Not a coincidence, Truth Seeker. These Masons, these Zionists, they run the recording industry, they run TV, they run movies, they run a lot. We live under their stranglehold. Anyhow, these are the photos from yesterday. Lots of photos like this. This mainstream gallery at this news network is hilarious because they make all the images really small, probably because they don't want people to see what a hoax it is. Personally, these images remind me of the Boston Marathon bombing lies. With regards to the Boston Marathon bombing equals 93, just like the words propaganda. Stillwater Truth Seeker is on the 36th parallel. Remember what's special about 36. If you sum 1 through 36, it totals 666. With regards to the Boston Marathon bombing, the finish line was at 666 Boylston Street that year. The Masons, they worship Satan. Freemasonry is Satanism in disguise. They're very much obsessed with these numbers. So again, Truth Seeker, help me like these videos. We have to undo the barrage of thumbs down I'm getting from the Freemasons, probably from the Stillwater Lodge. These people need to be exposed. And what needs to happen is there needs to be a growing awareness of people in record time. We need to meet together in the streets. We need to drag these Masons out of their lodges. We need to publicly execute them. We need to burn down their buildings. We need to burn down the police stations. We need to burn down the courthouses. All of this stuff is Masonic order. It's why it's a nation of injustice. It's why it's a nation of lies and deceit. It's why all of us live under unnecessary tyranny. If you disagree with me, then you are disagreeing with the truth. You are siding with the enemy. We live in harsh times. There needs to be harsh consequences for these people. Until next time.